People, let me tell you about my best friend. She's a warm-hearted person and she loved me till the end.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tabatha Fro, aka Braid Girl again.
Hey, come on, Braids. And it's your girl, Britt Britt.
Britt, you know what? Let's start
hmm
off with the scripture.
All right.
The scripture is going to be Proverbs 27:9. It says, "A sweet friendship refreshes the soul."
hmm
That is so true, Britt. But what happens if you think that your best friend has you as a best friend and it's not
hmm
so?
Dun, dun, dun.
Like in your mind, it's reciprocated.
hmm
She's my best friend and I am her best friend. But when you find out your best friend got a best friend,
And it ain't you. I don't know. It's like, is that a solid conversation you have to have? Because I've never like had to say, "Are we best friends?" Because we kind of, for me and my friends that I consider to be best friends, we kind of just say it like, "That's my best friend," or "Best friend such and such." Like
Best friend, bitch.
it's an unsaid thing, and it's not overnight. You know what I'm saying? But I've never. It's like if you don't know, then how do you not know
I
that you're not a
don't
best friend?
know. I was in a
Mhm.
setting where someone was introduced to me, and I said, "Oh, I've heard about you before. You're her best friend." And
Mhm.
then somebody chimed in and said, "That's not her best friend." And I was like, and the girl who thought that she was the best friend was making the
Uh-huh.
same face.
Yikes! And in front of people, like, oh, okay, well.
And it put that chick on blast because the girl looked at her and was like, "I'm not your best friend." She was like,
mm,
"Mm-mm, mm-mm, you're not. This other
hmm
girl is my best friend," whom I will have to say I had never even heard of this girl before, but apparently that had been her best friend since childhood.
The one who was the best friend, or
Who is her real best friend, but they
okay,
don't really hang with each other because that person lives in another state.
okay, gotcha.
So this person who thought that she was like best friend lives
hmm
here and they spend a lot of time together.
Okay. Now, do you think that warrants a conversation just for understanding? I don't think it has to be a conversation of what you mean I ain't your best friend, but just like what do you consider to be a best friend? Just so I know what matters to you. And that also doesn't mean I'm going to try to run to meet all your requirements and, whatever. But obviously, if we've been spending all this time together, I'm just a friend. If that, am I a friend? Because you got associates, acquaintances, friends. So at least get an understanding of where do we lie with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that would help the chick who found out she wasn't the best friend kind of know, how much you really energy you really and effort you need to be putting into this relationship. Just
Right.
saying.
So I'm thinking, oh, girl is just like running partner. That's what you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
hmm
how I realized that I was my best friend's best friend was we did have a conversation and it was about how much we share with each other.
hmm
And I realized that I share every aspect of my life with my best friend. And
hmm
she said the same thing to me. Like she has other friends and she has had friends since she was younger, but none of those friends she would tell everything about herself.
hmm
Every bare wound we have that is just an open sore, we're going to
hmm
share it with each other because we have that kind of friendship that we just, you hurting, I want you to help me. We
hmm
happy, we happy. I don't like her. We don't like her.
It's your rider. Real talk. Yeah, I don't, yeah, I think again that just warrants the conversation of, people understanding what qualifies or not, because it's different for everybody. I have people who I don't necessarily consider best friends, but we've had some deep conversations. But I also understand what can be shared, what not to share. And like you just said, I think that differentiates the amount you share, differentiates sometimes, what level they're on in your life. And I think, friend who found out she wasn't best friend, could also ask the question of, well, dang, has she shared, anything deep with me? Has she really opened up to me and been as vulnerable as she can be? Because of course, with friendship, especially, well, I won't say with women, with anybody, that safe space, you know what I'm saying, is super important. And I wonder if it was a case of her not feeling safe at times. Yeah, well, I ain't gonna get too deep into that because sometimes it just ain't my best friend, whatever. But yeah, it's a tricky conversation.
And I'm gonna tell you one way to be able to figure out whether your best friend, you're her best friend too, is if you're doing the majority of the talking and telling them about your life and your business, and you find out you really don't know anything about this person because they just listening to you.
Sure.
That could be a clue right there.
I think so. I can get with that for sure. And, that's one of the markers. Not that I'm looking for you to share your stuff because I'm sharing mine. But again, me feeling like you can confide in me and you knowing that is a check. It's a check off on my list as far as what type of friend I consider you to be. So how do you feel about when you find out your best friend has a best friend and y'all are best friends? Like, have you ever experienced, does your best friend have another best friend?
She does. She has a friend that she has been friends with since she was, I think, second grade, I think she told me. And what's interesting is I just had dinner. I had dinner with that best friend, and she has another friend that actually has my same name.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Gotcha.
And it's so funny because before I met these two women, I told her, like, I legit told her, I was questioning, like, your friendship pics because these other chicks that I know, no, Shawty, that ain't it. Like, am I a questionable person? Conversation about when do you let people go out of your life? And still trying to hold on to those friendships because you think that person needs you or something, or when to walk away, let go from those friendships.
Because it's almost like, to me, because I have a friendship. I love her to death, but I found myself we're just not on the same page. And it just is what it is. I mean, in life, as far as how we think, how we move, how we perceive things, we're just not on the same page. And honestly, it made me think, were we ever on the same page? That's a real thing too. Having to knowing when to shift people out of that space, you know what I'm saying? Because at that point they are just holding space.
And when you find out that you're not your best friend's best friend, you're not the best friend to your best friend, then don't get weird.
Yeah.
Don't get weird. There is plenty of friendship. Right. Plenty of friendship to spread around. Plenty.
Yeah, I mean, that's real. So, considering too, like you said, the one friend, she didn't even live in the same city, so they didn't really get to see each other much, hang out. So it's like that. You can have best friends, but on different levels. You know what I'm saying? So we still all have different friendships. And I think we talked about that too, as far as you don't tell everybody the same thing, blah, blah, blah. So everybody kind of fits where they fit. But yeah.
So that's it. We're going to try to keep them short. We started off saying that we were going to keep these short and sweet, and then we would just keep going and going and going. So we want to give you guys snippets so you can talk about it. Does your best friend have a best friend? Let us know.
Are you jealous?
I know. Right. Stop being weird. Don't lose a good friend.
Exactly. All right, then.
Bye,
Thank
you guys.
y'all for watching. Have a good one.